Hey, welcome back to No Hype Beer Reviews. Unless it's your first time, then welcome. Please consider subscribing. If you do, hit the notification bell, get the updates. This is today's video. The beers are courtesy of Chris. Thanks so much, Chris. I really appreciate it. Yes, I said beers. But you already know that because you can see and you probably read the title and you saw the thumbnail and you see the video as it's playing, unless you're just listening to it. But anyway, I'm really excited for this. So it's the same brewery, Warhorse, who I've done a decent number of beers from. They're local to New York, which is cool. I saw the guys at Nerd Sense do the same exact thing I'm doing, and I was super jealous because it's such a cool idea. So it's the same three hops are in both beers, but one is West Coast style, and one is more the New England style. New England style. Can't believe I just said New England style. Yikes. And then it's like, East Coast, West Coast kind of a thing, going back to Biggie and Tupac. So it's called Change, rotating double dry hopped IPA, Chinook, Simcoe, and Centennial. And again, the same three hops are in both beers. This is the East Coast one, so this is your Biggie one, and this is your West Coast one. I should probably show these better. And that is your Tupac one. Although it's Change, does make me think of my favorite Tupac song, Changes. Anyway, I won't read the back. This is already going to be a longer video, so we'll just get into it. If I remember there, and I had watched the Nerd Sense video before Chris sent these, so because usually I try to go in blind and all that. But yeah, it was pretty obvious to tell which beer was which. You do see, well, actually, that's interesting. I mean, this one, I guess, looks a little bit more like, not murky. Yeah, murky, I guess, is an okay word. But, it's much more like butternut squash soup, approaching that. This one, actually, for West Coast, it's not that clear. I must be misremembering their video. I thought it was a little bit more obvious, right? I mean, this is, I'm like, did I pour them wrong? Or am I thinking of them wrong? Yeah, I mean, in terms of West Coast, this is a little less see-through-y than I think. And I don't know if any of that spit landed on the lens. Yikes. All right, let's get into the aroma. I mean, that's what they look like. Let's get into the aroma. It's a really nice orange, really nice. I said this in a different review recently. It was a beer that did not have Citra, and it was so interesting how it kicked out orange, but in a different way. And same thing with this beer. It's very orangey, but it's not quite how the Citra hop kicks out orange to me. And and that's why I'm so interested in the same three hops in all both beers with the different styles they're going for. Because this does smell more New England style with how fruity it is and ripe fruit, but the hops are not. They're not Chinook, Simcoe. You do see a decent amount in New England style IPAs. I don't see Chinook or Centennial rarely, but it is that's interesting. Okay. Oh, wow. This one has a little bit of a nutty quality. They do smell very different. This is more than I thought it was going to be. The fruit is there, but much more muted than the New England style one. And it's the pitted part of fruit more in this one. That's interesting. Still relatively sweet. Wow, they are so much more different than I thought they were going to be. Anyway, it's about the taste. Cheers. Thanks again, Chris. Nice mouthfeel, pretty creamy. Good level of bitterness. Big grapefruit, which I was getting more orange in terms of how I got the citrus and the aroma. Orange is there, but once it gets into the more, and it starts off bitter pretty good, but once it gets even more bitter, also these are 6.8% ABV, I should say that. forgot to say the ABV. And that's the same on both cans. They get a little bit more grapefruity. There's a little, as I'm talking now, it's real interesting because it's grapefruit and bubblegum. And those are not flavors I put together. I'm sure some company at one point has made a grapefruit bubblegum. I don't think I've ever had one. But it works better as an aftertaste than that probably sounds. Like, I don't think, like, if I think of grapefruit and bubblegum, I'm not like, oh, I want those flavors together. But this aftertaste, and it's more grapefruit than the bubblegum. But I do get a little bit of that, which is cool. Little lemon. Touch of West Coast pineapple, too, in this New England style one. Or are they just calling it Eastern? Oh, sorry, they're just calling it East Coast. Okay. It's more West Coast one. So I want to do a second sip before I really start talking about it. It's not that much of a step down in terms of the mouthfeel, but I would say it is a step down. Interestingly, this one, like, I would have thought this one would be way lighter and way more bitter than this one. It's just a hair, maybe a hair more bitter. Now that I've had a few sips, it does seem a little bit more thinner than I initially thought, so that's interesting. The flavors, though, and I guess it makes sense, like the hop flavor specifically, I get, it's actually a lot like the aroma. I'm getting orange, a little bit of that lemon, and then grapefruit in the aftertaste. None of that bubblegum thing I was talking about over here. And then that like nutty into crackery thing. I didn't mention cracker at any point, but that's kind of part of this taste. It's a nice level of bitterness too. I want to note that. At 6.8, I could drink a couple of either of these and be really happy. It's kind of cool going back and, well, potentially to go back and forth, and this comparing thing is really cool. This one does seem more expressive though. Like there's more going on here. I'm getting more fruit notes. That little bit of pineapple as an example again. In this one, it's probably because of the, I mean, again, the Simcoe I have had in the more Eastern New England style family, but not the other two hops. This one has West Coast vibes. It almost drinks more like a Midwest IPA, where you have like some of the newer IPA parts, the mouthfeel, the creaminess, that kind of, the pillowy kind of a thing. But then, and some of the flavor too from the hops, like the fruity flavors, but then also still tied to some old school more West Coast IPA style. I'm with the same hops. I don't know the ratios and what they changed or not. I don't know that information. Excuse me. But like, yeah, there's overlap in flavors, but also they are two very distinct beers. Like if these were branded differently and I didn't catch that they had the same hops in them, I think I could drink these like in the same flight, side by side, like I'm doing now, and I wouldn't think common thread, like they're that different. But when you know and you're looking for it, it's really interesting to pick up what is similar. And again, it's for me the most similar thing are those three citrus elements: the orange, the lemon, and then that grapefruit. But then I hope I articulated well enough the bubble gum, other fruits like the pineapple, which I don't get in this one, whereas this one I get like this nuttiness and a little bit of that crackery thing. So like, yeah, definitely two different beers, but that, yeah, this was fun. This was like a really cool experience / experiment. But yeah, thanks again, Chris. I really appreciate it. I'm looking for, oh wait, what's that? You want me to cuvee them? I mean, I guess I have time. He said alone in the room to a camera and no people in the real world. Yeah, that's what it looks like. Wow, that's interesting. A lot of bubble gum when I do it that way. That's interesting. Okay, couple interesting things. Bubblegum I already acknowledged, so that's not interesting. Now I'm getting something. When I had this on its own, I wasn't getting, but smelling it out of the can and smelling it Cuvade, that Simcoe cat piss, cat pee thing, try to keep it clean. That cat pee thing, now I'm smelling it. And I smell it more in the glass than the can. That's interesting. Get a little bit of the pineapple too out of the can. That cuvee is really nice until the finish. Then there's like, that's when you kind of taste like, I don't want to call it a mess, but like it's a really nice sip, but then into the finish, it kind of does go sideways. So sometimes you do cuvées and it's like, this is as good as they are individually. Sometimes it's even better. This one, I would much rather have continued drinking these separate, just because of this, like, I don't know a better way to describe it other than, yeah, it kind of goes sideways. Yeah, something about that nutty cracker thing from this one doesn't pair well with the more ripe, fruity elements of this one. Yeah, the wires cross and not in a good way. These are better separate, not cuvée, in my opinion. But yeah, fun, awesome experience. I don't think I've ever done anything like this before, so that's really cool. I'm talking on camera or off camera, so that's really cool. Good on Warhorse for doing something fun like this, and good on Chris for thinking this would be cool to do. So thank you for sending them again. Have you had these beers before? Have you seen something like this before? Did you watch the Nerd Sense guys video of this? If not, you should. But yeah, thanks again, Chris. I really appreciate it. Once you guys are done with done commenting about whatever, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and most importantly, imbibe. Cheers, everyone.